Dealing with toxic narcissistic relationships and their abuses can have terrible consequences. It often results in the complete destruction of the victim's mental and emotional well-being, self-esteem, and financial stability. What I am sure of is that if you can recognize narcissistic traits early on, you will be able to avoid exposure to harm, protect yourself, and steer clear of potential pain and chaos that could affect your life. Certainly, life is challenging enough, and we definitely don't need a narcissistic individual exploiting others for their own selfish and toxic desires. Narcissists are not ordinary or normal people, regardless of how they may try to convince you otherwise. Thank you very much for your support. If you find this content helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for helping spread this message to those who can benefit from it. In my opinion, the first thing you need to do when you encounter and identify a narcissistic person before they cause any harm to you is to quickly get rid of the state of denial. Denial makes you refuse to believe that there is a significant amount of harm in the person you are dealing with. Indeed, there are people who can be incredibly harmful without any sense of empathy, guilt, or remorse for their actions. You must face reality and stop burying your head in the sand like an ostrich. The sooner you can do this, the better, as delaying it will only expose yourself to more destruction and damage to your life, both psychologically and in terms of well-being. You need to tell yourself and confront the reality of what you are dealing with. This is the first and crucial step towards true healing, liberating yourself and achieving lasting peace of mind. Avoiding the truth will never lead you to what you truly desire, and it will be your biggest vulnerability. You need to stop seeing only the good in people and instead observe and distinguish everything that happens with them, dealing with it based on what you see and hear from them. Now, after emerging from the state of denial, there are 5 important and key signs you must be aware of when dealing with a narcissistic person before they harm or exploit you. The first sign is a lack of empathy towards others. This is evident in the initial stages of the relationship when they may treat you very nicely but exhibit bad behavior and a lack of empathy towards others, especially those they consider inferior. You will find them openly disdainful and treating others with visible disgust, and you should be able to easily distinguish this. When someone in your life behaves disrespectfully or contemptuously towards others, this is a clear sign that you are dealing with a person who possesses narcissistic traits. Normal people do not spend their lives targeting or belittling others to assert themselves. Therefore, if you notice someone treating others with disrespect or disdain, it is a clear indication that you are dealing with someone with evident narcissistic qualities. Keep in mind that individuals who treat people in a demeaning manner without clear reasons will likely treat anyone else the same way, regardless of their relationship with them. So if you find yourself being treated in a demeaning manner, be cautious because there is a high possibility that you are dealing with a significant narcissistic person. Also, be careful not to let the narcissist deceive you when they show empathy in specific situations, such as when dealing with a close child or grandchild, while displaying extreme cruelty towards another child or person. This is a clear and unmistakable sign, and you should never justify the narcissist's actions in such situations. The second sign is when the narcissist starts defending themselves by directly accusing you. This typically happens when you attempt to set boundaries with the narcissist and you sense that your value or dignity is being challenged. I might have spoken about the importance of setting boundaries earlier, and we understand that it is a powerful and effective tool in preserving your self-worth and dignity when dealing with anyone. Any normal person shouldn't have an issue respecting and appreciating others' boundaries. It's possible that the narcissist may try to show some empathy towards your feelings regarding boundaries, but at the same time, you'll notice their focus on themselves, wanting you to understand the importance of their needs while disregarding your boundaries. This contradictory behavior is a peculiar aspect of narcissists, giving something and taking it back at the same time. This behavior becomes more apparent when you dare to set boundaries that contradict their goals or ideas. This leads us to the third sign, which is that they never learn from observations or experiences. In other words, when you draw their attention to something inconsistent with your boundaries, they react with an unusual anger. Here, you must understand that narcissists are extremely sensitive, excessively so, to anything that could highlight a flaw, deficiency, or unacceptable behavior in them. Narcissists get upset quickly to the extent that without realizing it, you might cause them a narcissistic injury, inflicting significant pain on them. When you find someone in your life suddenly getting angry or feeling embarrassed without clear reasons and you are unsure of the cause, it is a clear indication that you are dealing with someone who is always in a defensive state, defending their actions and words due to evident narcissistic traits. You might be living your life normally, interacting naturally with people around you, and suddenly, without warning, you feel that you did something wrong or said something hurtful. Although you may not be aware of the specific mistake, you notice a sudden change in the person you are dealing with. Their tone, facial expressions, and body language all change. Unfortunately, you might not know the reason for this sudden shift. Even if you try to talk to them, you won't reach any result, and you need to understand that it's not your problem at all. For a normal person, there is a certain level of empathy or conscience. When they realize they have made a mistake or said something wrong, they apologize immediately and try to rectify it as soon as possible. This is what normal people do. However, when dealing with a narcissistic and abusive person by their nature, they have an extremely high sensitivity and an unpredictable reaction to even the slightest issue. Normal people, or those with high empathy, find themselves in situations where they don't know how to act or what they did wrong, even if it's not their responsibility. What I want to emphasize is that if you genuinely feel that you didn't do anything requiring an apology, you are not obligated to apologize. It is crucial for us to be aware of our boundaries and the boundaries of the people we interact with. This is an essential part of healthy and normal relationships. Therefore, when you meet someone in any aspect of your life who seems unwilling to accept any feedback about their actions or reacts excessively to criticism, you must be sure that it is not your responsibility to apologize for the situation. The fourth sign is manipulation of your perceptions and thoughts. If you encounter someone in any area of your life who works diligently to control or manipulate your perceptions, it is a dangerous sign that you should be cautious about. This person works hard to convince you that they are a perfect individual, and you may indeed find evidence in their life supporting these claims. However, the more critical point for you to understand is that their primary concern is how you perceive them or what your opinion of them is. They manipulate your perceptions and thoughts about others as well. This is a crucial sign to recognize a person with clear narcissistic traits. The normal person, folks, doesn't need to do or say anything specific to prove their personality or the image they want to portray in front of you or others. They doesn't need to exert any effort to convince you of a particular opinion about them. Also, and certainly, they never manipulate your perceptions or try to control them to obtain a specific opinion from you or from anyone else. Because a normal person possesses qualities and skills inherent in their personality that allow them to be perceived as they are without any effort on their part. When you encounter someone manipulating your opinion or perception of them or of any other person, be aware that there is a high likelihood that they are a manipulative narcissist or possess narcissistic traits that should make you cautious in dealing with them. The fifth clear sign is when they speak negatively about their previous relationships. If someone brings up their past relationships or talks about any other person in a very negative manner, belittling them significantly, be cautious. There are two possibilities when a narcissist behaves this way. Either they acknowledge what they did to the person they're talking about, or they're projecting and might have done similar things to you in the past. Therefore, when you meet someone in your life who seems to focus only on the negatives in others' lives, constantly criticizing them or revealing certain secrets about others, it's not typical behavior for a normal person. Be aware that this behavior is something they might do when you're not around as well. The narcissistic person is a toxic individual who constantly seeks anyone talking about them in their absence in a negative way. Typically, a narcissist engages in such behavior while putting on a smile when face-to-face with the person. However, as soon as that person leaves, the manipulative narcissist immediately stabs them in the back. Normal people do not behave this way at all. Those who do exhibit such behavior in their lives lack empathy or conscience. Certainly, as humans, we may encounter situations such as hearing rumors about a specific person and unintentionally spreading them without awareness. However, the degree of toxicity exhibited by the narcissist in this regard is much more severe. If you find yourself regularly engaging in such behavior, it's crucial to self-reflect and reconsider your thoughts before this tendency becomes a fundamental part of your life, indicating a dangerous narcissistic trait. When such actions occur in our lives, a sense of guilt or remorse typically follows among normal and ordinary people. This is because, as natural and ordinary humans, we can acknowledge our mistakes, feel remorse, and take steps to correct the negative behavior. If a person becomes accustomed to behaving horribly without feeling any guilt or remorse, it is a clear sign of dangerous narcissistic traits. The narcissist fundamentally lacks the ability to feel guilt or remorse for any action or behavior, distinguishing them from regular human beings. This difference lies at the core of their toxic existence, as they continually seek ways to undermine others and diminish them to enhance their own sense of self-worth. The narcissist engages in such behavior through a continuous stream of toxic talk, where they habitually speak ill of others. It's essential to understand that narcissists are addicted to gossip and negative talk about anyone, regardless of gender. This approach is one of the methods the narcissist employs to compensate for the perceived decrease in their self-worth, strengthening their fake sense of superiority and power. While it may not be immediately evident that the narcissist lacks self-confidence because they adeptly cover it up with arrogance and conceit when dealing with others, they are exceptionally skillful at presenting a distorted image of themselves. However, if you pay attention to the signs we've discussed, such as constant negative talk about others or engaging in destructive gossip, you will find that the person completely lacks empathy and conscience. Therefore, the likelihood of them being a narcissistic individual is very high. Take a moment to focus and observe the person you are dealing with. Confront yourself with the honest truth about what you see or hear from them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you found it helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions for improving the channel, please share them in the comments.